You know you're smart. You have big goals. You can see clearly the life you want. So why are you still standing in the exact same spot? Why is it that you have all this potential and almost nothing to show for it? Here's the truth. The problem was never your ability. The problem is what's running quietly in the background of your mind, a kind of laziness algorithm that keeps choosing comfort over progress every single time. Today, we're going to break that algorithm. Not in a month, not eventually. In the next 24 hours, let's look at the actual data, because this isn't a guess, it's a pattern. In a survey of 542 people, the overwhelming majority admitted the same two things. I start tasks but never finish them, and I keep delaying the things that actually matter. Not because they don't care, because their brain is quietly avoiding difficulty in favor of comfort. Here's exactly how that happens. When a task feels hard, studying, working out, building something real, your brain looks for an escape. And right now, the easiest escape is always within reach, your phone. In a survey of 921 users, endless scrolling was confirmed as the single biggest thief of their time. Not overworking, not other people, scrolling. And in another audience survey of 893 people, a huge portion admitted the exact same culprits were destroying their focus: social media and overthinking. This is the dopamine trap. Your brain isn't broken. It's just doing exactly what it's designed to do, choosing the fastest reward available. The problem is, the fastest reward is almost never the one that builds your future. It just feels good for 10 seconds and steals the hour you needed for something real. So, if the problem is this pattern, this algorithm, then the solution isn't more motivation. It's a reset. Here's what that reset looks like. Not a vague, be more disciplined pep talk. An actual 24-hour plan broken into 3 concrete moves. Let's go through them one at a time. The first move is simple to say and hard to do. Cut the small habits that are quietly destroying your future. Phone addiction doesn't look dramatic from the outside. It looks like just 5 minutes of scrolling 10 times a day. It looks like reaching for your phone the second a task gets slightly uncomfortable. None of it feels like a big deal in the moment, which is exactly why it's so dangerous. Small leaks sink big ships. For the next 24 hours, here's the challenge. Remove the easiest access points. Turn off non-essential notifications. Put your phone in another room while you work. Delete, or at least log out of, the one app that steals the most of your time. You're not quitting your phone forever. You're just breaking the automatic reflex that sends your hand to it the moment things get hard. This single move creates something crucial: space. Space where your brain, instead of escaping into cheap dopamine, has no choice but to sit with the discomfort and eventually to act. Once you've created that space, you need a way to actually start the hard task, because knowing you should isn't the same as doing it. Here's the trick. Lie to your brain. Don't tell yourself, I need to finish this entire project. Tell yourself, I'll just do 10 minutes. 10 minutes feels small enough that your brain doesn't resist it. There's no wall of overwhelm, just 10 minutes. And here's what happens almost every time. Once you're in motion, momentum takes over. The resistance you feel is never really about the task itself. It's about the fear of starting. Once that fear is bypassed, most people keep going far past the 10-minute mark, sometimes for an hour or more. This is the secret to beginning the hardest task on your list, the one you've been avoiding for days. You don't need to feel ready. You just need 10 minutes. The last piece of the 24-hour reset isn't about one big day. It's about what you repeat after it. You don't need 10 dramatic life changes. You need 10 tiny micro habits that quietly rebuild your life over time. Start with your mornings. A simple, repeatable morning routine, even just 20 minutes without your phone, followed by writing down your one priority for the day, sets the direction for everything that follows. Add a few more: 2 pages of reading, 5 push-ups, 5 minutes of planning before bed. None of these look impressive on their own. That's exactly the point. They're small enough that you can do them even on your worst day, which means the streak never breaks. And streaks are what actually matter here. In our own audience survey of 986 people, the majority said the 2 things they most wanted to improve were consistency and controlling their screen time. not intelligence, not motivation. Just those two unglamorous things done daily. Let's bring this together. Success was never a one-day miracle. It's not a single dramatic transformation you see in a highlight reel. It's the sum of small, consistent actions repeated every single day, long after the initial motivation has faded. You now have the exact 24-hour reset, a digital detox that removes the easiest escape routes from your day. The 10-minute rule that gets you past the fear of starting anything hard. A handful of tiny micro habits that quietly compound into real, lasting change. Your potential was never the issue. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is closed one small, repeated action at a time, not one perfect day. So here's the question. Are you ready to actually put your potential to work today? Tell me in the comments. What's the one thing you most need to improve this month? Your morning habits? Let's bring everything together, because it's easy to hear 3 steps in a row and forget how they connect to the bigger picture. You started this video asking a real question. Why do you have all this potential and almost nothing to show for it? By now, the answer should be clear. It was never about your ability. It was about a quiet pattern running in the background of your mind. A brain that keeps choosing comfort over difficulty, cheap dopamine over slow, meaningful progress. Hundreds of people in our surveys confirmed the exact same struggle. Starting tasks but never finishing them. Delaying the things that matter most. Losing hours to endless scrolling they didn't even mean to open. That's why the fix was never try harder or want it more. The fix is a reset, one you can actually begin in the next 24 hours. First, you cut off the easiest escape routes. Every notification you silence. Every time you put your phone in another room before starting something hard, you're removing the exit your brain instinctively reaches for. Second, you use the 10-minute rule to get past the fear of starting, because the resistance you feel is never really about the task. It's about that first uncomfortable minute. And third, you let go of the idea that change has to be dramatic. 10 small, almost boring micro habits, repeated daily, will reshape your life far more than one intense burst of effort that fades in a week. Remember what almost 1,000 people in our own audience told us they most needed to improve: consistency and control over their screen time. Not talent, not intelligence, just those two unglamorous things practiced daily. Success was never a one-day miracle. It is, and has always been, the sum of small, consistent actions repeated long after the initial motivation disappears. Your potential was never the problem. The gap between where you are and where you want to be closes one small, repeated action at a time. So here's the real question. Are you ready to put your potential to work, starting today? Tell me in the comments. What's the one thing you most need to improve this month? Your morning habits, your screen time, or your consistency? Let's grow together. This is Time for Growth, and I'll see you in the next one.